Hey, Ronnie Jr.
And you did a Bravo show also, a Bravo show that my beautiful body could never do. Tell us about the Bravo show you did. How did you get linked up with it? And that probably was what opened up audiences for you to have a strong point of view about other reality shows because you did one yourself.
Yeah. So I honestly I can't remember how I got my audition. I just remember them contacting me, and it was for a show called Stripped. And at the time, there had never been anything like it on TV, I think, except for maybe like Naked and Afraid. If that's probably the only thing I could compare it to. So it was that April of I think like 2016. I got the call to do the audition, and it was kind of like a Skype situation.
Yeah.
It lasted for 2 hours. And after that 2 hours, I didn't hear anything from them for another probably 6 months. So I got a text message in October asking if I was still interested in the show. And I was like, okay. But I mean, the crazy thing about that is I felt like I'd had a pretty hard summer. I think LA, and I think we've talked about this a lot before, is that LA is a very lonely place, which is very interesting, especially if you're from the East Coast, like I was. And so I didn't work out or anything like that over the summer. I was just kind of like working because I found a pretty sustainable job, which is also kind of difficult to find in LA at times. And so I was working, I was putting all my energy and effort into that, and obviously still hosting and stuff like that at AfterBuzz because I just started there. And so I got the text message from them, and they're like, "Hey, are you still interested in the show?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah." So we had some emails back and forth, and they were like, "Well, can we meet you at your apartment?" So I said, "Okay." Leave from lunch from work, go home to my apartment so they can meet me and see what my apartment looks like. Still don't know that I'm gonna have to be naked. At this point, I don't know. So then, like, after I signed the contract, I was kind of nervous about that because the contract is like, it's some serious stuff. Like,
Yeah. Lots of control.
a lot, okay? And I was like, I'm afraid to kind of give up that control. But then they were like, I finally signed, and I learned about negotiating. I'll say that. And then I think at some point, probably maybe a week before, they took me out to dinner. And it was the three producers, the two associate producers and the main producer. And the they basically told me over dinner and drinks that I would have to be naked. And so at that point, I was like, oh, but I've already signed up, and
Yeah.
I don't think it really hit me then. And so the next week I was like, okay, well, let's just do it. And
Because
after that,
it seems like they almost salivate your like what this could do for my career or an experience. And then it's like right up to the wire. It's like, oh, would you play ball with this? Would you play ball with this concept? And then all of a sudden nudity was something you had to like make sort of a game time decision, it feels like.
yeah, I mean, I think to be truthful, they could have told me before, and they probably did, but I probably just glossed over it because the whole process happened so fast. So when they really made it abundantly clear that that was going to be the case, I just kind of like said, okay, well, it wasn't a situation where I felt tricked or anything like that. It just was a situation where this is going to be how it is. But I'm thinking it's television, so I'm not worried about people seeing me on television naked. I think it was just like, oh, okay, well, I didn't think about that, but never did I think that I would be naked on TV either. So
And the thing that was interesting about your show is, yes, you talked about Naked and Afraid, but I think that show was more to be funny and gimmicky and or I guess hooking up because no, they were doing tasks, but basically, yes, the stripped word is what you think of. But like I watched the series and I watched all the episodes. Yours was a bit of a finale episode. And it really did have context of like what it's I mean, people aren't going to get outside of the strip part, the naked part, but there is a concept from when I watched the show about being like stripped down to your core. And you mentioned that a little bit while you said because you were throwing yourself into work, your weight was not maybe intact or whatever. So it was a really good show. And I think that is what gives you a little bit more of a point of view with reality TV as an expert because there is a bit of a song and dance. I did a TLC network episode, and there was that let's play ball. Ronnie, will you play ball with this and that and this? And I remember being like, okay, and then yes, and then no, and then no, unless you're willing to pay my rent. So I feel like that is what makes you an expert, but it makes me there's so much people online that are talking about pop culture, reality TV, but what I like hearing it from you because there's a relatability that I have from the experiences that I've had as well.